Hello. Today we are talking Juneteenth celebration. In particular, we are going to have a conversation with Dr. Radisha Brown, whom I just met, and she doesn't know it yet, but she is my new best friend. We're going to dig into that. But why you want to stick around is because we are talking about mental health and what does that have to do with nutrition? So let's dig in. I'm going to see. It looks like Dr. Radisha's in the room. I just waved. Now let's see if we can get her in the room. Go live. Go. Here we go. And just as we're waiting, I'll let you know, Dr. Oh, and there she is. Hello, beautiful.
We've
How are you? I'm loving the updo. It's very summer fresh. How about?
right, just joining the vibe, going with the Juneteenth vibe, rocking my Black Women Can Thrive t-shirt, rep.
Oh, look at you. Can you show us a little bit more? You said Black women thrive?
Black Women
Oh,
Thrive.
yes. Yes, I love it. And so before we dig in, because I know you and I could literally talk all day, I will share with our community that I was going to say one of the reasons, actually a few reasons why I asked Dr. Radisha to join me today is one, I just love her energy. And in a moment, you will understand why. Two, when she and I were going back and forth talking about how we could connect, how we could create some joy for our community, she wrote me back and said, awesome sauce, as a reply to one of mine. I'm like, I don't think I've ever met another Black girl besides me that uses awesome sauce. I'm like, we're gonna be friends. So, Dr. Radisha, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here.
I'm excited. I am excited to be a part of the community to talk mental health. Hey, that's my lane. I love it. I love talking about helping women heal. And talking to you just makes it extra special,
Yay, yay, yay. And I'd love to just jump right in with your story because I do believe that's a lot of where our paths intersect. And I understand you are a full-grown woman, so you've got a huge story. But the story in particular I'm asking about is how the mental health and the nutrition piece came. And I'm not going to do any spoilers because I'll just let you talk now. Because I just love your story.
Y'all get your tea ready because here it is, right? So I am a licensed therapist and an expert in breakups. And so I talk very often about my own breakup. And I was married to a serial cheater, and that left me broken. I felt like it was my fault, like we all do. I felt like I gave all that I had and still ended up in a broken relationship. And so I chose to use food to cope with that. I ate everything you can think of for a very long time, and fried chicken was my vibe, right? I ate fried chicken for breakfast, fried chicken for lunch, fried chicken for dinner. Listen, they knew me by my first name at the chicken spots, right? And if you have ever been in the South and gone to a grocery store called Publix, they literally have the best fried chicken in town, hands down. They knew me by name. I would come in, they would cook my chicken fresh. I would take it home, 8-piece every other day.
Oh, shoot.
Listen.
Oh, I am feeling so sad for your tummy right now. Oh, my goodness.
My acne was all crazy. My hair was falling out. Besides gaining 80+ pounds, I literally didn't recognize myself, but food was my drug of choice, right? And so oftentimes we use food, we use alcohol, we use drugs, or we use hypersexual activity to be able to cope with the pain of life. Because as humans, our natural instincts are to find ways to deal with the pain. And so that's what I did in that relationship. I tried to find ways to deal with the pain, which led me to gaining over 80 pounds. I was obese, trying to figure my life out. And one day I was like, I can't do this anymore. I don't even know who I am. I'm looking at myself in the mirror. I don't know who this person is. I don't recognize the person looking back at me in this mirror. And I was just on my couch crying. I said, God, I just can't do it no more. You know, when you had that come to Jesus moment when you like, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of my own problems.
Absolutely.
And that was my way call. That was my wake up call. And I wrote about my journey in Girl Get Off the Couch because my moment came as I was on the couch crying. And I was like, God, like I need somebody to come in and take this fried chicken out my hand.
Like literally,
Literally,
peel my fingers off. Yeah, I've been there. My drug was red wine. Yeah, I think sounds like your drug was the fried chicken, but yes, my drug was the red wine, especially during the COVID.
right.
It wasn't related to a relationship outside of myself, but what I now know, of course, hindsight, the relationship with myself, that when I was
Right.
needing some comfort, it's like that couch and a bottle of red wine
Right.
and a thing of popcorn. Ooh, my body suffered, but in the moment, I was like satiating something in there.
Right. Right. It was taking me back to a place where I felt accepted. It reminded me of my experience with my grandmother who would cook fried chicken on Sundays, and it felt like I was at peace. It felt like a calming place. So that's why fried chicken emotionally connected with me, and that's why I ate it every day. Right. And so that went on for almost a year. People are like in shock when I say that, but
Wow.
almost a year I ate fried chicken.
Wow.
The thing is, we have to be ready for change.
Yeah.
And I wasn't ready at 20 pounds. I was like, I mean, I can lose some weight, but girl, this fried chicken too good.
Makes me feel good, like a big hug from my grandma, it sounds like.
20 pounds amongst friends, right? I mean, like, why not, right? Then it became 30. It was like, oh, girl, that's getting kind of tight. I can't squeeze in these clothes no more, right? Because it'll get real tight. Then 40, then 50, but not until 80 pounds where I had my moment like, geez, I can't do it no more. I can't live this life no more. I can't continue to eat this way. I'm hurting everywhere, emotionally, physically. We're not even talking about the physical changes that happen as a result of using food to cope with pain. And I remember going to the doctor, and the doctor told me, listen, you're on your route to cancer. You're on a direct route to cancer,
Diabetes. Yep.
else. And I was like, my God, what is going on? And so that moment came. I was like, God, can you just come get it out my hand? And if you just take it away, then maybe I won't crave it. But in that prayer time, in that moment, he was like, you got to get off the couch. You got to get off the couch. And so it was 4 words that profoundly changed my trajectory of my life, because it was not only physically getting my butt off the couch and taking the fried chicken out my hand, but it was also that no one will come to save you. You have yourself. There's a hero coming in this story, knocking on your front door and say, hey, baby, let me save you. Let me take away all your problems. It was a moment of clarity and a moment of fire for me. It was like, I am going to do everything I can for myself, because I'm fit, and I gotta fight. I gotta fight to take this weight off. I gotta fight to get my mental health back. I gotta fight for my purpose. I gotta fight for my life, and no one else is gonna come to do it. And God is not gonna just show up and be like, let me just fix everything. He wants me to work, so I gotta go to work. And so
and I imagine, and this actually wasn't in my notes, but as you're talking, and I'm like, wait a minute, you are a licensed psychotherapist, but I imagine you at the same time are probably taking on the brunt of other people's problems while still trying to keep that balance of your own. So do you find in your practice, or I should say in your industry, I think it does attract a lot of empaths who do take on probably a little bit too much of other people's energy. So do you think that was part of it as well, with all the things we've been going through?
Helpers, healers. That's our whole work, is helping other people at the cost sometimes to our own selves. And so part of my own transformation, my own journey, is creating those boundaries for myself as a healer, and the work that I do, and boundaries in my personal life. And so often as women, that's what we're trained to do as little girls. You take care of other people, please other people, ignore your own needs, forget about what you want, what it is that they want, what it is that they want to eat, where it is that they want to go. They take away our voice at such an early age. So it's no surprise, even as professionals as you and I, that we continue with that same behavior. We continue,
absolutely,
despite the fact of all my degrees, that didn't insulate me from serving other people and forgetting my own self. It didn't
And
insulate.
for being human.
Right. It's a
Right.
very female experience that we have. And so part of this journey I call healing journey that never ends, because it's a constant refocusing, it's a constant evaluation, it's a constant taking way different levels in this process, is learning how to place yourself first. And it's a very weird feeling for many of us because we are so trained to put our significant others first, our kids, our work, church, the community, the neighbor, the dog, the cat.
Yes, yes, I hear you. And I want to talk about tactical steps. But before we jump in there, I just want to give a shout out to Verona. I see you, beautiful queen. She wrote in the comments, she says, no one else is going to save you. Such profound words.
Right.
Thank you for sharing that, she says. So thank you, Verona, for joining the conversation. And thank you, Dr. Radisha, for dropping some gems. So for somebody who is listening right now, and I do want to do maybe a little bit of role playing after this, but who's listening, who's saying, yeah, that's Michelle, that's Dr. Radisha, they figured it out. Right. But what can I, like, what does that have to do with me? Like, let's be more specific. So let's even use food. So let's say somebody right now is like digging through that bottomless pit of popcorn or French fries. Like, what would you say would be one step to help them perhaps see another way?
Right, absolutely, sis. And I understand, no judgment. That was me, girl. Look, unless you've been eating fried chicken for a year, you are one step ahead of me. Okay, I would say this: if that's you, if this message resonates with you, if you are at a place trying to figure out your life and using all things to cope with the pain that you're experiencing, I want you to know, despite whatever obstacles you face, that you're worth the effort required to change. I want you to look at yourself in the mirror, no matter how many pounds you've gained, and I want you to say, self, listen, you are a bad queen, right? And God only made one of you for a reason. There is no one like you on this earth. There's only one of you, and you're so precious, you're needed, and it's important for your healing take priority, right? And it's about taking one step at a time. I didn't lose 80 pounds in one day. I didn't lose it in 1 week. It took months and months and months, almost 2 years to lose 80 pounds. But it required me to take a step forward, just one step. I'm not saying focus on the 80 pounds. I'm not saying getting rid of all your chips just right now. I'm just saying doing one thing for yourself right now, which is to tell yourself that no matter how hard it may seem, you are worth the effort required to change. Because oftentimes we think we're not, but you are. Sis, you are. That's it.
Amen.
Put that in your pocket.
Amen.
And what you say, sis, listen, I'm a bad and I need to do the work required to heal because I'm important.
And I'm worth doing the work. And yes, it might be painful at first to, maybe walk around the block. But guess what? You walk around the block today, next week you're going to be walking, 10 blocks up to the park. And maybe you'll hop on a swing and play with your kiddos. I don't know. But yes, I talk a lot about that in I don't know if you're aware, but I do group coaching around nutrition. And so one of my programs, Healthy Sexy, we try to take baby steps. So it's a 30-day program, but in the beginning, I throw a lot of things at my participants. So we're releasing the gluten, we're releasing the dairy, we're releasing the sugar. And the reason why I do that all at once is because I think it does kind of shake up your nervous system. It's like, wait, let me just hold on to one thing. I think we naturally hold on to one. And then after a while, like usually a week later, I'm like, okay, surprise, guess what? We're just picking one thing to focus on. And that typically helps to cement that one habit. And then I think when you build that one habit, it's easy to habit stack the rest of the habits. So, maybe you're starting with no sugar this week, but maybe by next month, it's like, okay, I'm ready to release that dairy. I'm ready to feel good in my body because I've proven to myself that I can release that harmful substance that I've been putting inside my body.
Absolutely. And I am completely in agreement with you. When I'm working with clients, I have them focus on one thing, just one thing at a time, because when so much is coming at us, we feel overwhelmed, and our immediate reaction is to shut down. Like, it's so much,
Yes.
nothing. Just to focus on one thing. And one of the key things you mentioned was sugar, right? And so as a mental health therapist, that's what I do every day. That's the one substance that we focus around. And you think about, why would a therapist be talking about sugar? Because we know sugar is 5 times more addictive than cocaine. You think about that. Sugar is 5 times more addictive than cocaine.
Breaks my heart.
Pain than it is sugar. And there's a direct correlation between the intake of sugar and your level of depression. And so talking to you about, you know, utilizing coping skills, figuring out your triggers in depression, I want you to have a full transformation. I want you not only feel better, think better, live better. I want you to have a full transformation, which requires that you examine what we're putting in our mouth. And sugar is the #1 substance directly correlated to depression. So not only are you making your gut healthier and happier, but you're also helping your mental health. You know, oftentimes we think of food separate from our mental health, but they are married to each other. So the better.
And I want you to continue, but also just to make sure the community comes along with us. I had a client who told me, well, I don't eat much sugar, so this should be easy. But then the thing she didn't think about relating to sugar was the alcohol. She drank wine almost every night, but she's like, no, I don't eat sugar. I'm like, okay, let's talk about that wine, because that immediately turns to sugar. I noticed at lunch she was eating a lot of white rice, which we know that turns into sugar real fast. There was one more thing that I'm like, yeah, you do. You got a lot of sugar. So just as a note to the community, like, really pay attention to those carbs or maybe the sneaky ways that sugar can get into our diets. But yes, carry on.
Right. And so that's what the important piece is. And you're right, sugar comes in many forms and we don't even think about it. So taking just note of the things that you're putting in your mouth, and because change requires the first step in change. Any change program, whether you're doing one of the Michelle's amazing group programs, or you're doing mental health services, whatever it is, the first step in change is acknowledging that there's a problem, right? And as long as you stay in denial is a very comfortable place at times, right? That couch was real comfortable. That feel good. Right?
Yep. Yep.
You had the problem. But denial weighs out. Basically, there's an expiration date on the denial. And so once we have that, oh my God, aha moment, then everything kind of rushes in. But certainly keeping account of where you're getting sugar. For me, my biggest intake of sugar was sweet tea.
And that's right, the Southern girl. That's right, we got the Southern girl on the call.
You know, in the South, we like our sweet tea with sugar and a little bit of tea, real cold.
Wow.
So I can only imagine how much sugar was in that sweet tea. And I drank a 32-ounce cup of sweet tea every day.
Oh, you are breaking my heart. But you overcame it. So again, like, what was it? Like, what was the light bulb that flipped for you? Because again, as a practitioner, we can talk to other people and we can easily see their issues and maybe hold their hands and walk them through. But when it comes to us, I think it's really easy. Like you said, the denial. It's easy to be like, oh, yeah, I've been talking about it all day, so I know what this is. It's just one sweet tea today. It's okay. Like, how did you, like, flip the switch for yourself?
It was trial and error, right? I didn't get it first go around. It took multiple tries before I got it right. It was like, oh yeah, this is what I need to do, because you go through that ebb and flow. A change process, a healing journey doesn't look like I start at A and then I end up at Z, right? I oftentimes use the example of, hey, I live in Georgia. Hey, we might start off in Georgia and on our route to California. We might make it to Tennessee and then we find ourselves back in Georgia. You're like, Right. And so that's what the change process looks like. That's what it looked like for me. I'm not here to say that you can do it in 30 days. That's just impossible. You learn a new habit in 30 days. You don't completely change your life in 30 days. And that's the key. And those small habits, those small itty bitty little steps, you're like, oh, but those don't make a big difference. When you look back over 30 days, 60 days, 6 months, you look how far you've traveled. That's how you know the growth has taken place. You don't see it every day. And change really is about those daily decisions we make. It's not about, oh, I'm gonna get my nails done, girl. I'm gonna get my hair laid. It's about, what am I doing today for myself? What am I choosing for myself today? Am I gonna cook some baked chicken and some veggies, or I'm gonna go to McDonald's and get the burger and the French fries? Like, what am I doing for myself today? And that's how you heal. That's how you change what you're eating. That's how you change what you're thinking. That's how you transform and create this life that you want for yourself. I'm all about helping you create the life you want, right? Everybody ain't meant to be a size 6. Everybody ain't meant to be a size 2. Is, what do you want for yourself? And let's figure out a way to get there.
I love that. And not be afraid to ask for help. I will tell you, I don't mind sharing that back in the day, early 20s, actually early 20s and before, I was a professional dancer, and it's very common. I did have a eating disorder, and I learned how to hide food. And so now, 20, 30 years later, I am crystal clear that if I start getting those thoughts, or if I start getting those cravings, I tell somebody immediately. So like, I'll tell my
Right.
husband, or I'll tell my daughter, like, hey, I'm craving a cookie right now. And I may or may not eat that cookie, but at least they're not going to find like cookies hiding in my car or in, the cabinet where the dog food is. Like, I just have to be really clean and clear with my choices. And then that way it saves me from binging. Like, I don't remember the last time I binged. Like, thank the Lord, literally. And thank all the helpers, the therapists that I have spoken to. And I will say to you, I'm just so grateful for the work you do in the world, because as you and I were talking about before, like, I can talk 24 hours about nutrition right now, but my clients aren't going to be able to hear it or apply it to their lives if they have these other stories running in their head. And that's where you come in, and that's where you have a beautiful gift in helping us to unpack some of these layers that are helping us treat ourselves like the worthy queendoms and kingdoms that our bodies are.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
thank you. Thank you for your work.
Absolutely. Thank you. And thank you for the work that you do. It's a community change process. We all support one another, and asking for help. Certainly I had to get help. Even as a therapist, I had to get professional help. And I always say I created my healing dream team. So I had my therapist, I had my nutritionist, I had my personal trainer. I was like, everybody got a role, right? It's going to take all of us working together to change all of this happening. And so there's absolutely nothing wrong with getting help. And it's so important so that we can figure out how to do this thing called life, and to do it in a way that makes us happy and brings us joy.
Absolutely. And I feel like even this conversation is a sign that we as a community are moving forward so much faster than even just 5 years ago. Like, people were not just talking about therapy out loud, like it was a hush hush. And so I'm asking you, have you noticed a change, especially and particularly with the Black community, that we are more open to therapy and getting help?
Absolutely. There's so many more folks coming into therapy, a lot more diversity happening with therapy. The pandemic really shifted things for the mental health industry. It really brought to face the struggles that we're having with anxiety and depression and eating issues and trauma, because we didn't have those coping mechanisms that we used to be able to kind of deal with the pain before. We couldn't go out to the clubs and the bars, and we couldn't go to the movies, we couldn't go to the parks, because everything was shut down. So here we are still with depression, anxiety, and trauma, and we don't have any way to cope with it. So
And all trapped.
so,
Right.
like, oh my God, this is the time I need to see somebody. Okay, where's that therapist person? They say kind of,
It's like, I know I've heard Dr. Radisha telling me I need to come
yeah,
in, but maybe it's time to actually call her.
So most therapists, I mean, the practices have just exploded, which is a good thing, which is the thing we've been hoping and praying for. The downside of that is there's just not enough of us, right? There's just not enough of us providing care to the community. And so we're trying to grow our numbers, but in the meantime, we're trying to find creative ways to service the masses. And so I like the fact that we're able to reach people in the comforts of their homes. I like the fact that people are asking about therapy and how to change things in their lives, and couples are coming to therapists. I have a lot of male clients that, 5 years ago, seeing a single man come into therapy was like a unicorn. It's like, I saw a unicorn. What?
Yes, we got to look out for our brothers as well. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's just a great thing to see that people are choosing themselves. That's what it's about. It's about understanding you're important enough to heal. Regardless of all the other priorities we got going on in life, and God knows everybody has a list of them, but understanding that despite all of the things, I'm important too. And
absolutely,
just so that you can heal. And so it's a great thing.
As you were saying that, one tip I'd love to share with the community is Michelle time. My children were trained from a very young age that on Tuesday evenings, don't think about mommy, don't think about Michelle, because Michelle's gone. And that was, it was back when I was working in corporate, 8 to 5. And, just like, as you were saying, I had the pressures of the 8 to 5 and then coming home with the family, and something just had to give. And I reached out to a therapist. So I learned this through therapy, is that I just had to find at least 2. She's like, you can find 2 hours a week. And so that was it. Like, after work on Tuesday nights, I'd either, take myself to a park, or I'd take myself to a nice dinner, or I'd go to the movies, or I'd go to a yoga class, like something where nobody could find me. I didn't have to report to anybody. I just got to focus on me. And that, just knowing that I had that to look forward to every week, like that made me a better mom and a better wife and a better worker, I think, because I had that outlet.
Right. I tell parents all the time, you need time away from your children, and especially moms, they have such a hard time with it. What do you mean? They have the guilt, they have the what ifs, and I'm like, for your own mental health, you need time away from your children. At least 2 hours every week. At a bare minimum, you need to have time away from your significant other and from your children.
Amen.
Rule. That's rule in therapy.
All right. So, wow, I had a feeling this conversation would go fast. And I have so many more questions. I'm like, how about this? Can I have you back? In fact, I do Facebook Lives every second and fourth Thursdays of the month. May I put you on the calendar down the road?
Absolutely. I would love to come back. Or, as a therapist, you got to tell me to shut up, girl.
No, you have just expanded my heart. You have blessed our community. Thank you so much for being here, Dr. Radisha. It's been a pleasure getting to know you, and I hope to get to know you better, both personally and professionally.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We are in this thing together, girl. You got my personal cell, and not everybody got that.
Yes.
Sure.
So now tell me, in our community, where can we find you?
You can join me on the gram at Dr. Radisha Brown. You can visit my website at drradisha.com. And if you're looking and needing help in your journey towards healing, come check me out. I'll be more than happy to help you.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. And if you all have enjoyed this conversation and you want more in-depth and group coaching, our doors are currently open for Nourish, the membership. And our first founding members group coaching session is tomorrow night. So not too late to join. MichelleFox.com/Nourish for all of the juicy details.
I love that name, by the way. I was like, oh my God, that's such an awesome name. We got to.
I'm so glad. Yes, it is my goal to nourish the community in any way and the best ways that I can, because we deserve it. We need it. Now more than ever.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It was great talking to you.
All right. Thank you. And happy Juneteenth.
Juneteenth to you as well, sis.
Thank you. We'll talk soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.